Sergey Shykevich is joining us, Threat Intelligence Team Group Manager of Checkpoint. Welcome. Dobrodošli, Sergey.
Hello.
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 Kako će
Dakle,
ovo
Sergej nam govori o tome kako je Darkweb zaista paradise ili raj za napade.
Koliko vas je bilo na dark webu u životu? How many of you have been to the dark web? Welcome to the dark side. Next 25 minutes, Sergey, please be gentle and frighten us as much as you can, okay?
Will be a pleasure. Yes. Thank you, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. A bit about me. I'm Threat Intelligence Manager in Checkpoint Research. We are an organization inside Checkpoint of about 200 people that our goal is to research the bad guys. It can be nation-state actors, it can be dark web, hacktivism, and technological trends. My personal experience is about 7 years in private sector, and beforehand I was about a decade in Israeli intelligence services in different threat intelligence positions. So what we will talk about today, it's about dark web and dark web communities. But before I deep dive, what is it all dark web communities? Because presentation before me, it was mostly about the results of the attack. What I will show you about you, how the cyber criminals, the attacker, build their attack. How easy it to build an attack using dark web and a bit of money. It's even not too expensive. So what is dark web community? You can see here example of one of the biggest Russian-speaking forums. It's called Exploit, and what you can buy and sell in this forum. You can see here, you can buy malware, you can access to organizations, accounts, social media accounts, banking accounts, whatever you want, you can buy there. About the size, this forum exists from 2000 for about 25 years, and there are more than 200 topics and more than 1 million messages. It's a real community. It's not just a pop-up forum, something like this, appears, disappears, all this. By the way, there are a lot of assumptions and rumors that this forum is behind the scenes, the admin is connected to Russia law enforcement or government at all. Rumors, let's say it this way. And who is in the forum? There are buyers, people who buy stuff, sellers, because in the end of the day, a lot of the dark web and underground is a market. That people sell and buy stuff, and newbies who come to learn there, how to be better. So today I will show you how to build the whole cyber kill chain that basically allows cyber criminal to build an attack, and successful attack like it was previously shown, using the dark web. I will go with you through all the known steps of the kill chain and what is available in the dark web and in the forums around it. But now I want you to know some of the members of those communities. Who are the members? Who are the cyber criminals? Not just to think dark web. Those are people in capuchons and such stuff. So think about this guy. Looks for you like a guy you can meet in the street. So this is Pomporian, or in his real name, Connor Brian Fitzpatrick. He was the admin of the biggest English-speaking cybercrime forum, breach forum, that facilitated for about a decade trade of, I would say, many or even most of the hacked databases from different organizations, companies. This guy was arrested about 1.5 years in New York. He's American, yes, FBI got to him. He's not even in Russia or something like this. So when you think about cyber criminals, that's how they look like. Another one, this guy. Also, he's DJ in his free time. He's not only cyber criminal. His name is Tank, or Vyacheslav Igorevich Pinchukov. He's one of the biggest fraudsters. His main goal during the last 15 years is to steal as much as possible money from banks. He gets access to banking accounts, mostly in Europe and US, and then doing transactions from stolen accounts to whoever, whenever, in the end of the day, to cryptocurrency, and monetizes it. He's Russian, and just 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, he went to a travel to Switzerland, I think, and was arrested there also. But now let's talk about two guys who are not arrested, because they are in Russia, and as far as they are in Russia, I guess they will never be arrested. This guy, one of the most prolific cyber criminals during the last 4 or 5 years, his name is Vazavaka, or Mikhail Pavlovich Matveyev. As you can see, the real names of all those guys are known. So it means they did mistakes. They failed in protecting their identity. It's not like in Darkweb, you think no one knows. They made mistakes, and law enforcement and cybersecurity sector found who they are. So who is this guy? He's initial access broker. I will talk a bit more about initial access broker, but what does it mean? The Russian underground divided to different specialists, like in real life. It's not like the same person doing everything. There are specialities. So initial access broker is a cyber criminal who mostly gets initial access to corporate network. It can be exposed RDP or server with a default password or unpatched server, and he gets initial access to it. It can be VPN credentials. Think about in the era of hybrid work, many people use bring your own device and connect to corporate VPNs, 365 and other stuff from home devices. Much easier to infect those devices and get those credentials. So he's initial access broker, and he also was an affiliate in different ransomware groups like Logbit, Babook, and Hive. Logbit is the most prolific ransomware group during the last 3 years. Was before a big takedown. So he's free and continues to operate. And this guy is maybe the most famous one, Russian cyber criminals. He's not hiding at all. He has a collection of about 10 Lamborghinis. He shows off in streets of Moscow with those Lamborghinis. He did a wedding about 6 years ago that costed $20 million. And he's Aqua, or in his real name, Maxim Yakubets. He's basically one of the masterminds because the well-known Zeus malware about 15 years ago, he operates Drydex, one of the biggest cybercrime botnets, and more. He's in Moscow, everyone knows, he loves this attention. So those are just a bit of examples. Who are the people in the underground? Who are the most well-known people? As you see, if you meet them in the street, you won't think, oh, this is the shady cyber criminal. They don't look like this. What they care about? What those cyber criminals care about? 3 things. One is money, of course. They want money, and that's their main goal. To be rich, to steal money from others, of course. Not to. Second, operation security. They don't want to get to the point, like I showed you previously, that their photos and the real names are starring in Interpol red alerts, in FBI top wanted, and in the media. Their goal not to get to this point and keep the operation security. To be really hidden, like you can imagine in the dark web, in the underground, many of them fail. Or it's not even they fail, but mostly when you operate in this area for 10, 15 years, in the end of the day, you do the 1-2 small mistakes. And if cybersecurity industry and law enforcement really focus on you, they will find this mistake. And learning and improving the capabilities. Because the better your capabilities you will have, the more money will you make. Remember about this. So now let's talk how really the dark web enables all the cybercrime and all this. How you can build the whole infection chain and kill chain using the dark web. So the first step is reconnaissance. The first step in a 7-step skill chain. And what does it mean? As I mentioned, initial access brokers. What you can find in the dark web is credentials in initial access to different corporations. And I will show several examples from your region, from Adriatic countries. One example from Serbia. Someone is selling a domain access to gas storage company in Serbia that it's an annual revenue of $20 million. It uses Global Protect. It basically provides domain admin credentials to this company. And see the price. See the price. It's maybe surprising, $300. It's not expensive at all. For $300, it's auction, by the way. That's how it's common. But so between $300 to $600, you get access to a company in Serbia in area of gas storage and storage. And that's how the most sophisticated ransomware attacks on data breaches start, from such things. From one mistake, one credentials, one exposed server that shouldn't be exposed and being sold in the dark web. Another example, Serbia's Screen Connect access. Also is being sold for a bit more expensive price, for $4,000, 154 hosts in the panel, related to 13 companies. So it's some kind, the most likely, of IT or services company that has a Screen Connect access to many companies. And that's something also the attackers love. They really love such stuff because it's a supply chain, and even sensitive supply chain. When you get to such companies, you can get to dozens, hundreds of companies. And also from Bosnia itself, WordPress admin access By the way, most of those examples are from the last year or last months even. It's not like it's one several years. So from WordPress admin access in Bosnia and Herzegovina to some website with a lot of traffic. As you can see, they never write here the names of the companies because they don't want the companies or different dark web automated solution to find it quickly. We did develop different way how to match it to companies. In some cases, it's possible. In some cases, more difficult. But they never post the name of the company, not to burn this access, by the way. So it won't be automatically, oh, it's the name of the company, so it's easy to approach the company and tell them, oh, you have a breach, and please remediate it in this step. So that's an example how easy it is to do reconnaissance, initial access to corporations. The second step is weaponization. So on the malware side, mostly what is most important, so your malware will be undetected by antiviruses, endpoint solutions, EDR. And how they are doing it, especially to evade basic antiviruses, is what is called obfuscation services or crypt services. Those services change several bytes in the malware file, and basically it changes the MD5 of the malware, and basic antivirus solutions that mostly rely not on behavior, but let's say on just MD5 or a hash of the file or name of the file are tricked this way. And those services run here for many years. This service runs from 2012. For 12 years it runs, so it's a big business. And cybercriminals use it, and to obfuscate, to make your malware undetectable, costs about $100. Or your initial step file that you run via email phishing campaign, something like this. It's also not expensive. The next page, delivery. You have now malware or obfuscated file or something. You want to deliver it to the organization you want to attack. The common delivery method is phishing, like it was also shown previously. So spam services. Also, you can order. You don't need to develop or invent something, nothing. You just buy it from the same dark web forums. And you can see here for a price for 50,000 emails, it's about $300-400. You send 50,000 malicious emails, and this service, maybe talking about AI, more and more such services integrate last year AI, mostly API of ChatGPT, to randomize the emails, and this way to bypass basic anti-spam solutions. For example, Gmail and such stuff that mostly detect what is spam, what is not spam by numbers. By numbers, or for example, how many of Gmail users received exactly the same email with tiny changes. So this way they're randomized, and by the way, they claim by their customers' feedback in the dark web, yes, there is feedback also, and that with AI-powered spam services bypass on 70% the basic anti-spam services. 70% in the end of the day get into, let's say, Gmail or G Suite email of people that receive it. What is the next thing? Exploitation, exploits. So exploits is a real paradise, the dark web. By the way, not only for cyber criminals, but also for nation-state actors. We know that more and more last year, Russians, Chinese, Iranians, maybe to some degree North Korean, buy 0 days in the exploits and vulnerabilities in the dark web. It becomes much easier to buy it than to develop and research that can take months or years. For example, remote code execution, Office exploit, 0 day, is being sold for $150,000. Yes, not cheap, but you can buy it 0 day. Or UAC bypass 0 day for 0.3 Bitcoin. Another case is a vendor who sells 0 day or 1 day exploits. 1 day exploits are basically exploits that are already public. There is a proof of concept for them that you can use it, but before most of the organizations patch them. By the way, due to such services, the exploitation timeline last year became very, very short. We saw many occasions that the exploitation timeline before the vulnerability became public to the point we saw it really exploited is 1-2 days in many cases. So patching within 30 days, like the general, common patching policy is not enough anymore in many cases. So this vendor, you see Lord One, he's very interesting because he's not selling 1 or 2 vulnerabilities, he's selling hundreds. And he has a huge catalog. You can see here a small part of this catalog. It's again, there are 6 or 7 pages catalog. You can see here vulnerabilities of variety types of devices. Not only like Office or Windows, but a lot of IoT devices. Cameras, you can see here dozens of cameras, routers, whatever you want. It's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to exploit IoT devices currently, to start the attack, to build big botnets. By the way, we also see Chinese nation-state actors using exploited IoT devices to build all their obfuscation chain behind the scenes, behind the attack. How they kind of exit, let's say, China, and up to the point they get the victim. It's mostly hacked IoT devices. It's just easy, and you can see here. Huge catalogs for several thousands or hundreds. The next step is installation. Okay, you get to the machine of the organization via compromised RDP, VPN, or spam. Now you need to install a malware. So how you get the malware? Also, a lot of info stealers. Those are cheap and basic malwares that allow you to get initial persistence or credentials in the networks of the infected corporations. Medusa stealer, Radamantis, Luma, Vidar, and more. Most of those are very cheap also, $100 per 1 month of use it. Also, not 1,000. Radamantis is the most sophisticated maybe, so it costs about $1,000. Yes, because it's really a good one and strong one, but it's very, very easy. And the last step, and the one before the last, command and control. That's interesting because what you see here, when you're already in the network, how you exfiltrate the data and try to bypass all the controls. You use mostly pen testing tools, Cobalt Strike, Brute Ratel, and such stuff. But you are wondering that those cybercriminals are able to crack those tools and basically sell them. For example, a Cobalt Strike for $5,000. Yes, Cobalt Strike will never sell directly their solutions to someone non-authorized. Yes, they claim it and they stand behind it, or at least try to stand. Okay, but we see that cybercriminals are found ways to crack it. In some cases, cybercriminals also register fake companies, by the way, to buy such tools legally. They register legal companies to bypass the basic kind of verification of such, and they sell it. And this way, attackers try to bypass and exfiltrate data. Also easy, the well-known pen testing tools. And last but not least, action. Okay, you're in the network. A part of exfiltrating data, what you are doing. So the biggest threat now is ransomware. And that's so easy. While in most Russian forums now, ransomware is not discussed, there is one big forum, RAMP forum, that's the paradise for ransomware guys and affiliates. Most of the ransomwares operate in an affiliate way. What does it mean? There is a group who develops the ransomware, and there are people who rent the ransomware and really penetrate the networks. Let's call them pen testers, because there's different specialities. And this forum is a paradise for such, because you can choose, if you're an affiliate or pen tester, black pen tester, of course, which ransomware you want to use. For example, Win ransomware posted in our program, you can choose custom extension and ransom note for yourself. Cooperation terms, 30% of each payment is our share, the developers, and 70% of the extortion money you get is going to the affiliate who is doing the pen testing in the network of the victim. So you choose it. Some offer 20%, 60%. You can choose whatever ransomware you want. And it's not only Wing. It's also guys who reverse engineer ransomware and then post it for free. You can use it and improve your ransomware capabilities, but also a lot of different other ransomware. Cooper ransomware, No Escape, Beast, Killin. You should just choose there whatever you want to use in this forum. It's easy, and there is a lot of, by the way, competition by ransomware developers on affiliates. They market themselves. There is a lot of marketing activity there around this. But not only this, what we see more and more last year, it's a bit surprising, it's wipers. Wipers are destructive malware families that their goal is to destroy your machine, to erase your MBR, to delete files, something like this, and that's all, not to get extortion money. So it's surprising, while in Darkweb forums that are oriented mostly on financial crimes, such malware became appearing and discussed. We assume it's because more and more nation-state actors are there. Iranian, Russian, Chinese, other actors are there and working and discussing it there. You can see FreeRust Viper source code, another guy asking for, we want a fully undetected, FUD is fully undetected by antiviruses, Linux Viper, it's more and more discussed. And on the soft side, what is the action? Is about financial fraud. You can also find a lot of discussions on financial fraud and monetization on the action side. You can see here, for example, someone who is a customer likely of many banks and financial services in Bosnia here, and he's offering to be a money mule, to utilize his bank account in different services and launder money. It's posted in forums, and if you have any stolen monies that you want to launder, you can also use the dark web and do it easily. So just to summarize, what I showed you is how easily and not for too much money. As you saw, each step costed mostly $100, $200, $500. So within $1,000, let's say approximately, you can execute an attack. Yes, the more money you will have, the more sophisticated will be the attack, the better tools you will purchase, better vulnerabilities. Yes, if you have $50,000 budget, yes, you can use the zero-day vulnerability, very good spam services, all this. But if you are newbie or just want to start things, $500,000 and you know the forum, it's just easy and available to everyone, unfortunately. By the way, those forums, as I mentioned, are there for 20 years. And they are... will be there to stay, I think. Thank you. I'm here for today for questions. If you will have any questions, you are welcome to approach our booth. I will answer you. Thank you.